Okay, so picture this. The Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, right? We're talking about a fortress of secrets, defended by the most advanced technology on the planet. Now imagine it being breached, not by a rival government, but by a couple of kids, from their bedrooms. Yeah, let's dive into this absolutely incredible true story. So it's October 2015. The personal phone of the director of the CIA, John Brennan, starts ringing. And on the other end of the line, it's not a world leader. It's a teenage boy. He calmly tells him that he's hacked the CIA, and then he starts making demands. What would normally just be written off as a prank call was, for Brennan, a confirmation of a security nightmare that was already happening.
And that's really the big question here, isn't it? This wasn't just some random hack. This was a direct personal challenge to the head of the most powerful intelligence agency in the world. I mean, how on earth was that even possible? Well, to understand that, first we've got to meet the hackers.
Long before they ever thought about targeting the CIA, our two main characters were on totally separate paths. They were thousands of miles apart, and they were sharpening their skills in, well, very different ways. So on one side, you've got Kraka. He's a 15-year-old kid from the UK, super politically motivated, and already leading his own little hacker group. And then on the other side, you've got Default, an American teen who actually got a start by modifying video games, like Counter-Strike, just so he could win. I mean, two totally different worlds, but they both had this one shared fascination: breaking into systems. Default, he went from just being a gamer to a full-blown hacktivist pretty quickly. He was really inspired by the infamous group Anonymous, so he joined this crew called AnonSec. And his skills just took off. He used the group's network to get into a Canadian medical college's computer. And then, get this, as a prank, he deleted over $9 million in student debt records. But then he got serious. He hacked Denmark's official government website because he was angry about an animal cruelty law. He was really becoming a force to be reckoned with. So, you have Kraka and Default, each doing their own thing in their own little orbits. But then in 2013, something happened that shook the entire world and gave them a shared enemy: the U.S. intelligence community itself. And of course, I'm talking about the Edward Snowden leaks. The revelation that intelligence agencies were secretly scooping up massive amounts of private data from ordinary people, well, it sent shockwaves across the globe. For hackers like Kraka and Default, this wasn't just a news story. It was a call to arms. Their new mission was simple. It was direct, and for them, it was deeply personal. They decided they were going to give the CIA a taste of its own medicine. They were going to invade the privacy of the very people who were in charge of invading everyone else's. All right, so how did they actually do it? You're probably picturing some really complex algorithms, lines and lines of sophisticated code, right? But the key to breaking into the CIA, it wasn't found in a computer. It was found by manipulating people over the phone. The plan was just shockingly simple. Kraka found Brennan's phone number, which was publicly listed, and he saw it was with Verizon. So he calls Verizon's own tech support, pretending to be a Verizon employee who's having a system issue. When they asked him to verify his identity, he just fed them a PIN he'd already managed to get. And just like that, the support agent handed over everything: Brendan's account number, his address, even the last 4 digits of his bank card. With that info, Kraka just popped over to Brennan's personal AOL email account, hit the forgot password button, and he had all the answers. In a matter of minutes, he was in. To really understand how unbelievable this is, think about this. Inside CIA headquarters, the Starbucks doesn't even use logos on their cups or write names on them. It's all to stop agents from being identified or traced from, say, a discarded coffee cup. So they were protecting themselves against spies digging through the trash, but they were completely exposed by a 15-year-old on the phone. So with the CIA director's entire inbox downloaded, Kraka and Default were sitting on a goldmine of secrets, and they didn't waste any time using it. The fallout was immediate, it was catastrophic, but their little reign of terror was cut short by one very simple, very human mistake. They started posting top-secret documents and the personal information of intelligence officers all over the internet. This was way beyond just embarrassing the agency. I mean, for agents working undercover, having their identity leaked could be a death sentence. The agency that was supposed to know everyone's secrets couldn't even protect its own. It became a full-blown national security crisis. And the scale of this breach was just staggering. First, Kraka leaked the personal info of 9,000 Department of Justice employees. That put them and their families at huge risk. But he wasn't done. Nope. He followed that up by releasing the data of 20,000 FBI agents.
Suddenly, the names, phone numbers, and addresses of nearly 30,000 federal employees were just out there. The damage was immense, and you can bet the pressure on law enforcement to find these guys was at an all-time high.
You know, they must have felt totally untouchable, but their downfall didn't come from some sophisticated cyber trace. It came from a simple mistake. Default, the American hacker, was at home getting more and more paranoid. And one night, while he was drinking, he just confessed the whole thing to a friend. That one slip-up, just a moment of drunken bragging, that's all the FBI needed. So pretty soon after that, the FBI raided Default's home, and he was arrested. He immediately gave up his partner, Kraka, who was then picked up by British police. So, what happens when two kids who literally outsmarted the CIA finally get caught? Well, because he was so young, Kraka, his real name is Keen Gamble, was sentenced to just 2 years in prison. Default, or Justin Liverman, got a 5-year sentence. But here is the ultimate twist. After they served their time, both of them are now free and have built careers doing the one thing they do best, cybersecurity. The exact same skills that landed them in prison are now being used to protect companies from attacks just like theirs. And their whole story just leaves us with this really fascinating question. Were they criminals who recklessly put national security at risk? Or were they activists, fighting back against government overreach in the only way they knew how? It really forces you to ask, in this digital age, where exactly do we draw the line?